This just in. As we await news about peace talks between the U.S. and Iran, we're also learning the U.S. is going to host a second round of talks between Israel and Lebanon. That will happen Thursday in our nation's capital. Those two governments held their first direct talks, you might remember, last week, also brokered by the United States. That led to a 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Iran-backed proxy group Hezbollah. Meanwhile, with the fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran set to expire this week, President Trump told Bloomberg Vice President J.D. Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law Jared Kushner will travel to Islamabad very soon for peace talks. There's also new signs the war with Iran may not end soon. U.S. military video shows Marines seizing an Iranian cargo ship right there near that critical oil shipping route known as the Strait of Hormuz. That you're seeing is a first for this war. And also more U.S. forces heading to the region right now, including an additional aircraft carrier. Meanwhile, U.S. negotiators travel to Pakistan for renewed peace talks. Iran says they never agreed to a second round of negotiations. So a whole bunch to cover here. We begin with CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv.
With the clock running down on that ceasefire, tensions are only cranking up. Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, opening fire on passing oil tankers. And U.S. officials I spoke with said the crew of that Iranian ship just ignored warnings after a 6-hour standoff. So Central Command, they're in charge of this operation in the Middle East, released video first of a U.S. destroyer, the USS Spruance destroyer, calling out a warning to this merchant ship. I understand that those warnings weren't even heeded. They didn't even listen to them or react to them. A few moments later, you see the Spruance, this destroyer, open fire on that ship, taking out the engine component, poking holes in it, but not sinking the ship. Later, we saw video, again from Central Command, of U.S. Marines from the USS Tripoli boarding that vessel and taking it over in the dark of night. So we understand that it is now under U.S. custody. We're not exactly sure what it was carrying, but it was headed toward Iran. That's important, not away from Iran, but toward Iran. And it underlines exactly where this U.S. blockade is positioned, south of the Strait of Hormuz. Over the weekend, the Iranians, after first opening the Strait of Hormuz, declared that it was shut, opened fire on a couple of tankers there. And this is the first time the U.S. has actually seized a ship in that region. Although CENTCOM tells us they turned back around 25 of those ships back toward Iran or stopped them from going to Iran. So this is a clear escalation. This morning, Iranian officials described the capture of that merchant vessel as a hijacking and an act of piracy. Again, we know that ship had been identified under U.S. sanctions, but it's not exactly clear what it was carrying. Back to you.